Recording in progress.
I'm going to start again with a microphone. Good morning, everyone. Happy America Recycles Day. Thank you for joining us for CalRecycle's November public meeting. I'm Maria West, Communications Director for CalRecycle. Today's live update is designed to serve Californians with accessible, plain language information about CalRecycle programs and actions. We are simulcasting in today's meeting in both English and Spanish, as we work to further expand access to CalRecycle decision-making processes. You can find a link to the Spanish broadcast by clicking on the orange meeting notice at the top of the CalRecycle homepage, calrecycle.ca.gov, then click on the broadcast link under Meeting Details. We welcome your feedback as we continue to improve our public meetings. As a quick reminder, you can submit a public comment on an agenda item in 2 ways. If you're here in person, you can use one of our meeting room microphones. And if you're joining us remotely, you can submit a comment using the public comments portal. Okay. Sorry. Just go to CalRecycle's homepage and click on the public meeting web banner at the top of our site. There you'll also find a link to today's agenda, the presentation slides, and our live webcast. We'll address public comments a little later. To get started this morning for America Recycles Day, we wanted to honor Californians' success recycling so many products with a Thank You California video. Take a look at just how much California has recycled through all of our recycling programs.
Happy America Recycle Day. Thank you, California, for doing your part to save the planet. Thank you, California. You're making the planet better for me and my friends and for our future.
Thank you so much. On our first agenda item today is the Director's Report. Director Rachel Mackey-Wagner joins us now with some important updates. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Maria, and good morning to all of you joining us this morning. Thank you so much for those of you who are here. This is really inspiring and invigorating to me to see so many of you in person today. And thank you for those of you who are joining us remotely. And really happy National Recycling Day. Thank you to every Californian for doing their part. This video that Maria just showed is really a testament to how much California is doing and how much each and every one of us are doing to improve our state and reduce the overall pollution associated with trash. So thank you to Californians everywhere for doing your part. Today, I want to just highlight the fact that in the coming weeks, we will be releasing our State of the Recycling and Disposal Report. And what that will highlight is that we are hovering around 40% recycling rate and still disposing of roughly 40 million tons a year of waste. While that is not where we would like to be, I see this as an opportunity, a true opportunity for us to look at how we can do more. Like the video highlighted, Californians are recycling everything from tires to e-waste to our beverage containers at record numbers, but there is more for us yet to do. I want to especially thank the governor and the legislature for providing us nearly $800 million over the next couple of years to make those changes, to invest in a circular economy here in California. We are really changing the paradigm. We are all familiar with the 3 R's. Here in California, we're going to make it the 4 R's. First, we're going to reduce, then we're going to reuse, then we're going to recycle, and then we're going to remanufacture. We are making the investments, we are making them here, from composting to recycling, to new beverage containers, to sky's the limit for innovation here in California. We look forward to working with all of you over the coming year and some months on getting those dollars out the door to make innovations investments in innovation here in the state of California that will truly grow that circular economy. We leave billions of dollars of resources on the table every year by throwing things away. Californians can and do better every single day. So we're looking forward to working with all of you in implementing 15 new pieces of legislation that the governor signed in September that will truly make a marked difference for the state of disposal and recycling here in California. Today's meeting has a lot of important information on EPR programs and disposal. And so with that, I will just kick it to the meeting. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Rachel. Next on the agenda, state-managed crews started clearing wildfire debris from burned homes in Siskiyou County. Deputy Director Tina Walker joins us with a status check on California's 2022 wildfire cleanup. Good morning, Tina. Apparently our Zoom channel is not hearing the room, so let me just 1 moment.
Tina, go ahead.
Technology is wonderful until it doesn't work. Oh.
CalRecycle and contracted crews have been in Siskiyou County since early October, supporting recovery efforts following the Mountain Mill and McKinney fires, which burned from late summer to early fall this year. Site assessments are ongoing, and structural debris removal effectively began this past weekend. CalRecycle met the contracting requirements of this year's mission task request using the Master Services Agreement for field assessment and monitoring consultants and accepted Tetra Tech's response plan to support environmental and documentation services needed for this operation. Anvil Builders was awarded the debris and hazard tree removal contract through the use of the department's pre-qualified bidders list. To date, we have 161 parcels enrolled into the state-managed program. One of the neighborhoods impacted by the mill fire was Lincoln Heights in the town of Weed. We spoke to wildfire survivors Denise and Chester Hopkins, who lost their home this year and have signed up for the state's managed and funded debris removal program.
My wife's mom lost her house back during the Bowles fire, so we knew exactly what was going on from the Bowles fire and stuff like that, and it was a good thing to get the, debris removal. So we didn't have no hesitation because we know that was going to be one of the things that we got to have done, and and we had talked to our insurance, so this money is just located just for debris removal. So we know we got to, hey, that's what it's for. That's what we're going to use it for.
You guys did a great job on my mom's property.
Yeah, so.
We thank the Hopkins for speaking with us, and we're glad we're able to pave a path for Denise's mother, who rebuilt her house after the 2014 Bowles fire. CalRecycle is also supporting the review of the State Hazard Mitigation Plan, which is the primary resource for local governments when building their emergency and hazard response plans. The first meeting was held in early February, and since that time, CalRecycle has joined other state partners under CalOES leadership to contribute to the 2023 updated version. This month marked the 4th anniversary of 2018's catastrophic Camp Fire, and although debris removal was completed in the first year after the fire-damaged hazard tree removal function required aggressive state advocacy to redefine damages for federal public assistance support. Hazard tree felling began concurrently with our 2020 statewide disaster debris removal operations in the Northern Division and concluded just a year ago. Recovery efforts do continue following the Camp Fire, as CalRecycle is now partnered with the California Conservation Corps to replant a large woody contribution zone in Butte County, a requirement of the National Marine Fisheries for watershed and fisheries protection. This operation will conclude next month.
Now to an update on California's historic plastic and packaging reform law. Governor Newsom signed SB 54 this summer, and CalRecycle began implementation planning immediately. That includes adding staff to launch and oversee these historic reforms. Take a look at this short video.
California is leading the nation to slash single-use plastic pollution.
This week, Governor Gavin Newsom signed groundbreaking legislation to cut back single-use plastics and boost recycling for what's left.
Holding the plastic industry accountable for cutting waste at the source to stop the flow of plastic pollution that's drowning our ocean, polluting our air, contaminating our water, and infecting our food.
This law would also make plastic manufacturers cover the cost of recycling instead of you, the taxpayer.
Called the most sweeping law to phase out single-use plastics and other packaging waste, California set the nation's toughest rules to reduce single-use plastics by requiring 25% of plastic packaging cut by 2032, 65% of single-use packaging recycled by the same year, and ensuring 100% of all packaging in California is recyclable or compostable by 2032. The new law could eliminate over 20 million tons of plastic waste in the next decade. Join CalRecycle's environmental program as we engage with stakeholders and write the regulations to implement this critical first step towards building a circular economy with sustainable product design. Help us launch the change to protect our communities, restore our oceans, and safeguard our clean, healthy future for our children and their children.
Hiring is now underway for this historic law and program. For a list of open positions, go to calrecycle.ca.gov and click on the SB 54 link in the gold banner at the top of the homepage. Deputy Director Zoe Heller joins us now with implementation updates on other key circular economy reforms. Good morning, Zoe.
Good morning, Maria, and good morning, everybody. So as Director Wagner mentioned, the governor signed sweeping legislative reforms this year to move us towards a circular economy. We're going to be releasing more information on these various pieces of legislation in the coming months. We're going to be holding public meetings, workshops, et cetera, and we plan to kick these off in January. We'll be providing details both here at our public meetings, but also through our various listservs and on our website. We're very excited to engage with our stakeholder community as we've got a lot of work to do. And we're looking forward to seeing many of you tomorrow at our very first SB 1383 Chat with CalRecycle webinar. We're going to be holding these monthly. It runs from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow, and we're going to be discussing any new guidance that we put out, tools available for you all, in assistance with local program implementation. There's also going to be an opportunity for peer sharing between various cities and counties, and we'll provide updates on our funding. We also want to make sure we have an open dialogue, so we'll provide plenty of opportunity for question and answer. Once again, we plan to hold future webinars to keep you updated and share how other jurisdictions are implementing their programs on a monthly basis, and we look forward to these conversations. Back to you, Maria.
Thanks. Jurisdictions now have more outreach tools available to help spread the word about their local organics recycling. This is the second phase of California's statewide iRecycle Smart campaign. We started by showing Californians how to reduce contamination and go to iRecycleSmart.com for a list of what's recyclable in their community. Because local implementation of statewide food and yard waste recycling varies, the Organics campaign does not focus on how to recycle food scraps. Instead, we created an attention-getting campaign that raises awareness that food recycling has started and helps Californians make the food-climate connection. California's Climate Food Fight campaign is now airing across the state and available for jurisdictions to download and share on the tools page at iRecycleSmart.com. Take a look at a couple of the ads Californians are seeing and where to find them on the iRecycleSmart.com page.
You can find all of the video, radio, digital, and other types of public service announcement advertisements on our iRecycleSmart.com website. Just go to the toolkit up at the top on the right-hand side, and then click on that, and you will find the toolkit page, which will give you options for all the different types of advertisements we're providing. And from there, we are just going to click on video, and from there you'll look for the topic. So we're going to organics because that's our food and yard waste campaign. And you'll see, actually the folder will open up and show you all the different types of assets there. And from there, we're just going to take a look at video. All the videos are available in both English and Spanish, and then you'll just pick out which format you're interested. We do have videos formatted for Hulu and also for other formats. And now we would like to show you California's Food Fight 30-second public service announcement and a couple of our other videos.
How do we fight climate change? Food fight!
I do my part, I recycle smart. I do my part because I know it's right. Food scraps help the climate fight. Recycle food scraps.
Food rotting in landfills harms our climate. For tips to recycle food scraps, go to iRecycleSmart.com. Do your part. Recycle smart. Join California's climate food fight. Do your part. Recycle smart. Join California's climate food fight.
That's just a video taste of a few of the ads that we've created. We've been extremely intentional in where we run this campaign, given that not all communities have started their food recycling yet, and that there are a few that are not separating out organics. If you would like to ask more questions or have recommendations about this, I strongly encourage you to email us at opa@calrecycle.ca.gov. We also just launched a schools page on our toolkit, so at the bottom of the toolkit you can find a schools link, and you'll find a number of resources for teachers and districts. Californians have recycled 463 billion bottles and cans since California passed its bottle bill in 1986. Deputy Director Amy Cameron is here with a quick update on the beverage container recycling program. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning. The beverage container recycling numbers are in for the first half of 2022. California recycled 9.6 billion beverage containers, or about 75% of its bottles and cans from January to June of 2022. That's above where we were this time last year, but recycling rates do tend to decline as we head into the fall and winter months. We have published the biannual report on our website and linked it to today's agenda. We've also linked the quarterly certification and registration report, the enforcement and operations report, and the annual curbside supplemental payments announcement will be released soon. We are excited about our latest beverage container recycling pilot project grant, which you will hear more about right now. Maria, back to you.
Thanks, Amy. More California communities are testing new models for convenient beverage container redemption. On top of the 5 local pilot projects already in operation, CalRecycle's beverage container recycling program recently approved new pilots for a consumer CRV pickup service in Corona, a mobile collection program in Sunnyvale, and a mobile collection program with 2 sites in Humboldt County. Approved pilots are eligible for state funding. Deputy Director Zoe Heller is back with the latest award from CalRecycle's Beverage Container Redemption Pilot Project Grant Program. Zoe?
Thanks, Maria. So CalRecycle received a budget appropriation in fiscal year 21-22 of $10 million in grant funding for the Beverage Container Pilot Project Program. It's really a mouthful. Thus far, we've received 1 eligible application totaling $1 million in eligible costs from EvTech, Inc., the grantee for the City of Sunnyvale Pilot Project. As Maria mentioned, the Sunnyvale Pilot is a mobile redemption program. Once it's operational, consumers can be paid on site, or they can drop off their bags of CRV material and be paid electronically once the containers are processed. The new system will be capable of processing CRV material with a digital counter and an artificial intelligence image system. I've already approved this award. And today we're also awarding $330,000 to 3 local communities under our Farm and Ranch Solid Waste Cleanup and Abatement Grant Program. The program offers $1 million in annual funding to communities and tribes to help clear and prevent illegal dumping on farm and ranch land. Funds may be used to restore land and for things like signage, locks, security cameras, and fencing to prevent future dumping. CalRecycle recommends awards to Siskiyou County as well as Yuba and Sutter Resource Conservation Districts. You can read more about the local cleanup projects in the public notice linked to today's agenda. Since 1997, CalRecycle has awarded over $13 million to help clear more than 1,000 sites of things like tires, appliances, vehicles, construction debris, and other trash. Maria, back over to you.
Thanks, Zoe. Applications for our next Farm and Ranch grant cycle are open now. Grant and loan funding is also available for various tire reuse projects, illegal dump site cleanups, and infrastructure expansion projects. Check out CalRecycle's funding page for a full list of open grants and application deadlines. As a quick reminder, you can submit a public comment today on an agenda item in one of 2 ways. If you're here in person, you can use one of our meeting room microphones. If you're joining us remotely, you can submit a comment using the public comments portal. Just go to CalRecycle's homepage, calrecycle.ca.gov, and click on the public meeting web banner at the very top of the homepage. There you'll also find a link to today's agenda, the presentation slides, and our live webcast. We'll address public comments a little later. The partnership between California and its local governments drives so much of our state's environmental progress. Local communities are responsible for implementing programs to use less, recycle more, and meet state environmental protection standards. CalRecycle is responsible for overseeing how well jurisdictions are implementing these programs. CalRecycle staff does this by conducting site visits, analyzing documentation, and through reviews of jurisdictions' annual reports, which include disposal information and self-assessments of their programs. The department also has the authority to conduct anytime reviews to make sure cities and counties are in compliance with mandatory commercial recycling and mandatory commercial organics recycling requirements. And we're going to go back to Deputy Director Zoe Heller with the results of CalRecycle's latest compliance reviews.
California law requires jurisdictions to implement mandatory commercial recycling and mandatory commercial organics recycling programs. Programs must ensure businesses that generate the statutory levels of waste have recycling services in place or a waiver. CalRecycle must review local jurisdictions' actions to implement its program for good faith effort based on express statutory factors, including, importantly, the number of businesses that are complying with AB 341 and AB 1826. One benchmark is clear: all businesses generating statutory levels of waste must have service or a waiver. Given that organic disposal has more than doubled rather than halved since 2014, and the majority of California waste originates from commercial sources, it's time for additional measures beyond monitoring outreach, which have not proven sufficient to achieve compliance. CalRecycle is working closely with jurisdictions to step up their efforts to account that for businesses that are required to have a recycling service or a waiver. For those jurisdictions that have regulated businesses not complying, CalRecycle is moving them farther down the path of enforcement to ensure 100% compliance statewide. While most jurisdictions are implementing these programs to cut climate emissions and landfill disposal, CalRecycle identified program gaps for 3 California communities listed in this agenda item. They're implementing portions of the program and but they're still seeing levels of noncompliance and a failure to demonstrate sufficient efforts to make sure all regulated commercial businesses have recycling services or a waiver. You can find a full summary of identified program gaps linked to today's agenda, as well as the jurisdiction's plans to address those gaps. CalRecycle staff will work closely with these jurisdictions over the next 6 months. If staff finds inadequate progress to implement the plans submitted to CalRecycle or address the mandatory commercial recycling and mandatory commercial organics recycling gaps, then CalRecycle's jurisdiction and agency compliance and enforcement branch, JACE, will be notified that the jurisdiction should be prioritized for an enforcement evaluation. This item is delegated to me for signing. Back to you, Maria.
Thanks, Zoe. Sorry, we're having some sound problems on our Zoom call this morning. Deputy Director Mark DeBee joins us now with new CalRecycle Waste Permitting, Compliance, and Mitigation Division announcements.
Thank you.
Good morning,
Our
Mark.
next agenda item is the recommendation of approval of a CalRecycle managed cleanup of an illegal disposal site referred to as Riverdale, and it's in Fresno County. CalRecycle's solid waste disposal and cold disposal site cleanup program assists in cleanup of illegal dump sites where the responsible party either cannot be identified or is unable to pay for the timely cleanups of sites that threaten public health or the environment. The cleanup projects are implemented through CalRecycle's managed contracts and grants and loans. Fresno County requested remediation assistance from CalRecycle for this 20-acre privately owned parcel that has been subjected to illegal dumping for a number of years. As a result, the site contains an estimated 2,000 tires, waste tires, 5,000 cubic yards of white goods, and over 17,000 cubic yards of trash and other debris. In coordination with Fresno County, CalRecycle's cleanup program contractor will be able to assist the county in clearing up the site. The county has committed to removing any trespassers and adding additional security to the site, which include physical barriers as well as active patrols. They are active in removing some of the vehicles and mobile homes on the site, as well as abandoned vehicles of other sorts, and will be assisting with the disposal fees. Next up are the solid waste permits and tire permits. And
protecting the health of California. Protecting the health of Californians and their land, food, water, and air is a big job. Local, state, and federal agencies play different roles to enforce public health and environmental safety standards. In California, solid waste local enforcement agencies process applications, issue, and enforce permits for solid waste facilities. These include landfills, transfer stations, compost facilities, or similar operations. CalRecycle must verify permits are consistent with state requirements. Permits can only address areas within the authority of local enforcement agencies and CalRecycle. Check out the link below for more detailed information. Emergency waivers allow temporary changes to solid waste permit requirements in response to local or state disasters. Local enforcement agencies may approve the waivers, which are good for up to 120 days and may be extended. CalRecycle must review approved waivers and can condition, limit, suspend, or terminate them. Check out the link for more detailed information. For waste tire facilities, CalRecycle processes applications, issues, and enforces waste tire permits. These include requirements to make sure tires are stored and processed in a way that reduces potential threats from fire and disease-carrying vectors like mosquitoes. Check out the link for more detailed information.
Paulina Lawrence joins us now with a statewide update
Thank you,
on
Mark.
facility permits.
First off, I'd like to start with those solid waste facility permits or waste tire facility permits that the department has issued or concurred on since our last monthly meeting. The department issued on November 3rd, 2022, a new major waste tire facility permit for Lake and Tire West, LLC. This facility is located in Alameda County. Action is needed February 25th, 2023. On November 1st, 2022, the department concurred on a new solid waste facilities permit for Agroman Limonera Commercial Organics Processing Operations. This facility is located in Ventura County, and the permit action needed date was November 7th, 2022. Also on November 1st, 2022, the department concurred on a revised solid waste facilities permit for Badlands Sanitary Landfill, located at 31125 Ironwood Road. This facility is located in Riverside County. Action was needed November 13th, 2022. And then on November 15th, 2022, the department concurred on a new solid waste facilities permit for Certified Blue Recycling. This facility is located at 2075 Wilson Street in Alameda County. The action date was needed December 19th, 2022. Continuing on the agenda is Recology, Yuba Sutter Integrated Waste Recovery Facility, located at 3001 North Levy Road in Marysville. This is in Yuba County. It's a revised solid waste facilities permit. The action needed date is December 10th, 2022. The department did not receive any new waivers as of last month's monthly meeting. So back to you, Maria.
Thanks so much, Paulina. And I just wanted to thank everyone for their patience today. We're having a problem with our Zoom attendees being able to hear what's happening in the room. So that's why we've had a few glitches. Next on the agenda, updates to various California stewardship programs. Industry-run collection and recycling programs are in place for carpet, paint, mattresses, and now sharps and pharmaceuticals. Deputy Director Zoe Heller joins us with those items.
Thank you, Maria. We have 3 items relating to the pharmaceutical and sharps waste stewardship program for the director's consideration today. 1 home-generated sharps waste annual report and 2 revised home-generated sharps waste stewardship plans. Staff reviewed the Med Project's revised 2021 annual report for home-generated sharps waste and found it met all statutory and regulatory requirements. Staff also reviewed Med Project's and Ultimed's revised stewardship plans for home-generated sharps waste and found that they met all statutory and regulatory requirements. You can read staff's analysis on these items in the respective public notices linked in today's agenda. Please subscribe to CalRecycle's Pharmaceutical and Sharps listserv to receive any further updates. Next on the agenda, Mattress Recycling Council submitted its revised plan to CalRecycle on September 14th, 2022 to address the conditions specified in CalRecycle's July 2022 request for approval. Staff found that MRC's revised plan met 4 out of the 5 conditions and partially addressed the requirements of Condition 3. Additional information is required for staff to determine if MRC met the Condition 3 regarding illegal dumping. You can read staff's analysis on the public notice linked to this agenda item. The director must approve, conditionally approve, or disapprove MRC's revised plan by December 13th, 2022. Carpet America Recovery Effort, or CARE, submitted its 2023 to 2027 Carpet Stewardship Plan to CalRecycle on September 22nd, 2022. CARE's plan does not include all of the required quantifiable 5-year and annual goals and baselines and other information such as description of how CARE's grants and subsidies are structured to incentivize the recycling of carpet materials that have the highest recyclability. You can read the department's full analysis on the public notice linked in this agenda item. If the plan is approved, CARE will implement its 23 to 27 plan effective Jan 1, 23, including CARE's proposed assessment increase. If the plan is conditionally approved, CARE will implement its 23 to 27 plan and resubmit its plan to the department within 60 days to comply with the unmet requirements. Additionally, CalRecycle will work with CARE to begin preparations to implement CARE's contingency plan in the event CARE does not meet all of the unmet requirements. If the plan is disapproved, CARE's contingency plan becomes effective Jan 1, 23. Under the contingency plan, CARE must transfer all funds to an escrow account within 30 days, and the department will administer the contingency plan. The director must approve, conditionally approve, or disapprove CARE's plan by November 21st, 2022. Back over to you, Maria.
Thanks, Zoe. You can find more information on any of today's agenda items. Just go to CalRecycle's homepage, calrecycle.ca.gov, and click on the public meeting web banner at the top of our site for a link to the agenda and associated public notices. Now is the time for public comments, and we will start with public comments in the room today. So if you have a comment, please approach one of our 2 microphones.
Good morning, Nick Lapis with Californians Against Waste. We're gonna probably tag team on comments. I want to start on the organics issue. I actually really appreciate all 3 items that you presented this morning. The PSA campaign, the monthly stakeholder meetings, and the increased enforcement of 1826. All of those are things that folks have been asking for years, and it's great to actually see them finally happen. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Clara Vazek. I'm also working for Californians Against Waste. I just wanted to express our support for CalRecycle's comment on the CARES plan, and also our concern on the fact that the plan does not include how CARE will meet their goal for expanding and incentivizing markets for post-consumer carpet products, increasing processor capacity, and increasing the recyclability of carpet. We also want to share CalRecycle's concerns on the fact that the plan does not include CARE's highest recyclability definition or the criteria and description of how CARE's grants or subsidies should be structured to incentivize the recycling of carpet materials that have the highest recyclability. So because of the lack of transparency on the methodology, the conversion factors, and the data sources for measuring how CARE intends to reach this goal, and also the fact that CARE does not clarify the criteria that they will use to incentivize the highest recyclability definition, we would like to support CalRecycle's intent to push back and give I think it's approval or like a conditional approval for the plan to resubmit an update on those concerns. Thank you so much.
Morning, everybody. David Bender from Circular Polymers. No plan is perfect. This plan should achieve the statutory requirements. We believe that CARE's recent performance achieved primary goals. Furthermore, CARE's COVID action plan enabled solid results during a very difficult environment. So Circular Polymers therefore supports approval. Thank you.
I'm Shirley Frericks, and Barbara Ravines and I are here from Nevada County, came down this morning. And you know, the first thing I want to compliment you on is the Commission on Recycling, Curbside Recycling. I listened in for most of those meetings for 2 years, and so much of what they did so carefully and thoroughly is now coming into law. But those people really, really did a job for us. I really want to compliment them. And some of the things that I don't see anything happening with yet is, number one, styrofoam ban. You know, we're dealing with single-use plastics up there. I'm starting a new program, just like San Mateo County has on disposables, you know, to try and get the eateries to change. And if we had a ban on styrofoam statewide, that would really help, really help a lot. The other thing is, well, styrofoam is the main example. You know, it splinters into a million pieces, and it becomes microplastics. The microplastics issue is huge, and the Commission kind of ran out of time to do much about that. And to do, you know, really, how do we deal with that? I'm delighted that the Water Board now has a new program, I guess, that they're going to start measuring microplastics in the city waters. But of course, he said, well, you're too small up there. We aren't going to get to you for a while. But anyway, so it's a big, big issue. I mean, I'm sure you've read about the health hazards of all of this microplastic stuff. So single-use plastic is what I'm working on mostly. We're called Waste Not. We're part of the Nevada County Climate Action now. And these new laws that we have are going to help enormously to do it, because it's really an industry problem first. And then it's our problem as consumers second. We need to stop, and that's what we're trying to do is to stop that. And the truth in labeling law will help a lot. The other thing is what we need help with grants and loans, and maybe someone can help me figure out how to get that for these takeouts and restaurants, because they don't have the funds to make the changes. San Mateo County did set up a grant and loan program so that they could buy a quantity of stuff to give them to start with. Then you start to get customers saying, great, good. Then that's how it has to start. So that's the big thing I want to follow up, on is how do we get some monies up there to help with this program. The other missing piece that I haven't seen happening after listening to the commission for so long is reprocessing facilities. Somewhere that got lost along the line. It came up and then it got lost and then they ended, unfortunately. But I do really want to know and push for what's happening. Again, we're rural, we're sticks. I mean, we're not. Anyway, the reprocessing facilities. How do we get it from Grass Valley, Nevada County, to a place where it can be? You talk about circular economy. That's a big issue. Big issue. If we don't have reprocessing, right now, the media has been so bad. I think I'm taking more than my time, forgive me, but the media has been so bad. Happy Recycling Day, and what are they doing? They're trashing plastic recycling. They're trashing recycling. Well, what's that telling the customer? Don't bother. Okay, we really need to counter this, and it's very upsetting. So it's something we have to work with education, and, I don't know how much waste management works with you, but got to get into it because the reprocessing, they have to know that these facilities are coming. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you driving all that way to be here.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Ravines, also of Nevada County, Grass Valley, and Waste Not. That's our small group that's part of Nevada County Climate Action Now. I wanted to say how incredibly impressed I am with everything that you are doing. I mean, we're just stepping into this now and reading all of the website. I can see that I have to go back and scour things and then call Ms. Heller about all the work, because she seems to be involved with a lot of the things, particularly that we're concerned about, and loans is one of them, as Shirley mentioned, and so on. But I'm stunned, actually, and I don't quite know where to begin except with your website and so on. So we are going to pursue a lot of things. We have waste management is our hauler, and I think that's mostly what they do is haul and not help us much with recycling and so on, which is something that we've sort of taken on to try and correct both with them and with our Solid Waste Commission. So again, thank you for all your work, and to Nick Lapis, I know from Sierra Club, and he's absolutely wonderful there too. So thank you very much.
Thank you again for driving down to join us today.
Good morning, live and in person. It's really good to see you all here. I'm Heidi Sanborn, the director of the National Stewardship Action Council, and I'm here to talk about the carpet item. But I also wanted to thank the nice ladies that came all the way from Nevada County, because I was chair of the commission, and I think we did do a lot of good work, and I know you called in a couple times, so thank you so much for caring. So I did want to say on this carpet item, on America Recycles Day, America is not recycling enough carpet. There's about 4% of the waste stream. It's all fossil fuel based, most of it now is plastic. And there's a lot more that could be done. And California really led by passing the first carpet stewardship bill in the world. And it was an experiment. There was a lot of fighting going on when we first, the bill was sponsored by the author and didn't get everything we wanted, and it's got a visible fee. And I always said that we should never be giving public money to private sector groups to run the program. If they want the right to run the program, they should use their own money. And that also gives them the internalized cost to drive design change. And I think today, with the letter and the plan that they have, it's further exemplification of why I feel so strongly about that. This program is not working as planned. In the SB 54 discussions and negotiations, I repeatedly brought up how many times CARE has failed to hit the goals, been fined. It's like kick the ball, drag CARE, kick the ball, drag CARE. And this is not working for a public program. The public is not getting what they wanted, and we aren't getting what we intended in the bill. So for all the reasons we had laid out in our letter, 5 gyres, Mojave Desert and Mountain Authority signed on, San Gabriel Valley Action, and for the reasons that were previously discussed, this plan should be disapproved. I personally think that this organization shouldn't even run the program anymore. And in SB 54, we got in a way to take the keys away so that if the program continues to fail over and over again, that the director would be able to say, enough already. We didn't get that in the carpet bill. We wanted to. We couldn't get it passed earlier. But I would fight to get that because I think this program really has failed miserably for many, many years. And I'm sorry to say that. That's not a win for EPR, but this is an EPR. It's a visible fee, and it's a stewardship program that needs fixing. So hopefully you'll disapprove the plan. Thank you.
Are there any other comments?
Good morning. I'm Bob Peoples. I'm the Executive Director of CARE, and I will agree, Director, it's nice to be back together in person. I want to say that CARE is proud of the program that we've accomplished and achieved working with the recycling community here in California. And we're going to continue to build on that success. This plan that you have before you was created by a very talented, capable, and dedicated group of people, professional people. It was not drafted by me or the carpet industry. The effort was led by Cascadia Consulting, Gigantic Idea Studios, Oprio Accounting Firm, Abby Bean as an independent consultant, all recognized as experts by CalRecycle. These people are all highly regarded professionals who understand the California statutory and regulatory requirements. What seems to be clear is that what seems to be clear to CalRecycle was not clear to this team and points to the complexity in some of the cases and the inconsistency of the demands being placed on CARE at this time. A case in point, to not understand why the absolute pounds of recycled output would drop signifies a lack of integrating key parameters on the part of the agency. So I'm asking you to rethink that, if you would. This is a good plan. It's not a perfect plan, but it's working, and it builds on the outstanding growth in this program for the last 7 straight years without any decrease in the recycling rate, including during the pandemic. There's no other EPR or state-run program that can make this claim of continuous growing improvement. I know because I have the data. I plotted it. I shared that with you today in my email. If you measure CARE on the same criteria as other programs, the 2022 recycling rate will actually come in at close to 80%. Let me restate that. If we applied the same recycling rate calculation as used by the mattress program, we would be at close to 80% today. When I shared the difference in these calculation rates with calculations with several important people in the state I recently spoke with, they admitted they were unaware that were different calculations used to calculate the recycling rate and agreed that there needs to be a common rate between them so you could compare programs. The curve I shared in my written comments previously establishes not only continuing growth in the program recycling rate, but the rate at which we are increasing the recycling rate has actually increased in the last 2 years. I sent a follow-up email this morning to cover that. You just heard from Mr. Bender of Circular Polymers. I want you to know his statements are fully supported by Los Angeles Fiber Company. The plan has made a difference for many recyclers, and the deal announced by Ascend Performance Polymers last week would very likely never have occurred if it had not been for the leadership of CARE during the COVID crisis. We would have lost recycling capacity in the state of California. All I ask is that the leadership stop listening to third parties who make statements without reference to real data or an understanding and knowledge of how this program really operates. CARE employs these external experts to help run this program. They're the same companies and people used by CalRecycle today. CARE does not operate in isolation. We're part of a larger economic ecosystem, and we're impacted both positively and negatively, just like every other organization and every other initiative. Sometimes it feels like CalRecycle is making black and white decisions in a sea of ambiguity. Miss one parameter and you're out of compliance. That's not how the real world works. So I'm asking that let's stop arguing and continue building on this program. CARE very much appreciates working with the talented staff of CalRecycle, and we look forward to continuing collaboration and growth for this program. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Was there another comment?
Good morning, Evan Edgar Associates on behalf of the California Compost Coalition. I want to talk about SB 1383 and thank you for having the chats. We need it. So monthly chats are great. And it's about implementation on the chats. It reminds me of the early days of AB 939. I used to phone around. I wasn't shopping for answers, but I found the answers I needed at the time. It's kind of going on today. So it's good to have a more consolidated approach on implementation with chat so we have a consistent answer. And I did a bunch of electronic annual reportings, and it's important to have the chat. So that's a good venue. But I'm here to talk about the policy. Some of these bigger policy questions won't come up during the chat room. And there's 4 things for the 1383 showdown going down. The first one is the Little Hoover Commission report. We worked hard on that to show not the cost impacts, but the value. I think that when the Little Hoover Commission report comes out in mid-December, it's hoped to show the value of that program. 1383 is a great program. It costs a lot, but it's the most cost-effective program. And that's what the cap and trade program for the climate investment showed, that compost and AED is the most cost-effective program out there. We highlighted that with the Little Hoover Commission. And the cost of it in Sacramento, it cost me $10 a month to have this residential food program. Well, it's $10 a month for Paramount Plus too. It's a value proposition. So hopefully the Little Hoover Commission report shows that. It's costly, but it's worth it. Number 2 is the AB 30 scoping plan is coming out before Christmas. No, before Thanksgiving. It'll be heard at Cardboard in this room in mid-December 17th. And the scoping plan we worked hard on. Director Wagner said us to lobby CARB about inserting key things of 1383 and RNG into the scoping plan. I've been on it for 2 years. I've been on it for 20 years. So yeah, we worked hard on the fate of 1383. At first draft, it wasn't there. It was mentioned on 2 pages. But because of CASA, the wastewater agency, SWANA, a lot of folks stepped up, and we talked about including, a bigger 1383 play. And they did, so they say. They did great work on the natural working lands with compost use and biochar. Great plan, but hopefully in this draft coming out, 1383 is a big component because it was pretty down there, but the thing about the short-lived climate pollutants, we can solve that in the near term. We don't have to kick the can to 2045 to look at some carbon neutral that we're stuck in later. We can do this now. But the thing about the scoping plan on biomethane, the fate of biomethane is to put in some pipeline and send it to the tomato plant in Modesto. They want to repurpose our RNG. What SWANA told me and what CASA told CARB was we don't have a sneaking pipeline. It costs $3 to $5 million to inject in the pipeline. We use it on site. The wastewater use it for carbon neutral wastewater, the landfill gas. We're standalone AED and we use it to our tethered fleet. I don't want to put it in a pipeline. The best value is putting it on site, used without transmission losses. That's what I hope to say in the scoping plan, but it won't. They're still going to say that biomethane should be put in a pipeline by 2030 and shipped off somewhere. Not the right answer. You want a real circular economy? We're it now, not some pipeline in the future to take RNG away from where we need it. So that's coming out. So we're going to be commenting on a scoping plan with CARB in December. We lobby them harder than we do here. So we've been focused on CARB for years now. Number 3, the Advanced Clean Fleet Rule was here in this room 3 weeks ago, 9-hour meeting. Once again, Director Wagner said lobby CARB, and we have. We touched 6 of the CARB board members, and they got it. We fought hard for that, but the Advanced Clean Fleet Rule was going to electrify too much too soon. Well, we're the refuse fleet. We're asking for a carve-out, the 1383 relief program. And there'll be a couple workshops coming up. By spring, the Advanced Clean Fleet Rule will come back. We want that carve-out. We ask for your support for that carve-out because under 1383, CalRecycle has responsibility for RNG procurement. We don't want to ship it to Modesto Tomato Plant. We want to use it at our facility. I hope that CalRecycle can weigh in now and send a message to CARB, your sister agency, that RNG should stay on site at wastewater, at the landfill for landfill gas for fuel, and as standalone AD for our tethered fleet. So we're going to get that carve out. We're going to work hard on it. One of the board members said that forever RNG, that we get carved out forever, because we are the circular economy now. This carbon negative minus, going to be like 120 million diesel gallon equivalents come on the market by 2025, which is a harmonic fit for the refuse fleet, about 15,000. Right now, 20 years ago, CARB said to get off diesel. So we did. Half our fleet is CNG with RNG, and other half is still on diesel. We want to continue that trend by using RNG. So hopefully, you guys can step up and have a strong message that we want to repurpose our RNG on site, not to a pipeline. And the 4th thing I heard today is state of recycling. And hopefully in state of recycling, we, I don't know if there's going to be type of a comment period or is it be presented or if there's any feedback or stakeholder aspect to look at it before it goes out. But I want to see how 1383 is handled with RNG procurement and state of recycling. The state of recycling is circular economies now, and we're doing it. So, and the fate of wood waste and biomass, I've been here for 2 years when you guys do the SB 498 wood waste report on the fate of urban wood waste. We're being crowded out by the forest sector. We try to get a holistic bill on all the organics from ag, forest, and urban that's competing against each other. But it's a number 2 waste stream after food. I saw a food fight video, but I don't think anything about wood waste. It's a number 2 waste stream being buried. We want to put in bioenergy. Biomap program's pretty good, and take the urban wood waste to have carbon neutral resource recovery parks. But we're told in a scoping plan, they don't want any more biomass gasification. They don't want anything thermal. So by 2030, we're crowded out of even the most common sense carbon neutral wood waste program possible, making biochar to sequester in the soil. We can't do that after 2030 in a scoping plan. Hopefully in the state of recycling, there's some type of market development plan. Since AB 939 was passed, CalRecycle and the Waste Board had an incumbent to have a market development plan. Haven't seen it for a couple decades. Paul Rellis worked on one back in the 90s. But I'd like to see that someday, if not part of the state of recycling, somehow, what is the fate of wood waste after 2030? What is the fate of RNG? Those are things that we look forward to working with CalRecycle on. So over the next month, we have a 1383 showdown, a lot of big policy coming together in December, and we can chat about it every month. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. So now we're going to move to our online comments through the public comment portal. And the first one comes from Ned Antel from UC Berkeley. And he says, given all of the recent legislation around controlling PFAS in the environment, it seems regressive and short-sighted for CARE's 2023-27 plan to ignore the presence of PFAS in recycled carpet fiber. High concentrations of PFAS are in post-consumer carpet. It is indisputable. This is a serious health hazard for the employees who process the fiber and for end users of the recycled products. It flies in the face of the tremendous efforts being made to prevent further environmental contamination. I strongly urge CARE to address the presence of PFAS in post-consumer carpet in the proposed 5-year plan. Failure to do so would deny scientific facts. And Zoe, did you want to respond? Okay. Well, thanks for your comments, Ned. The director will consider your comment prior to her decision. And the next comment comes from Gail Bryce, and the organization is XT Green. And Gail states, to Director Rachel Mackey-Wagner and the CalRecycle Carpet Stewardship Team, disapprove CARE's current 23 to 27 plan. XT Green commends CARE's efforts and success implementing the California Carpet Stewardship Program and CalRecycle's excellent support of this important stewardship effort for landfill diversion, recovering resources from post-consumer carpet, and producing significant greenhouse emission reduction benefits. However, to ensure continued success over the next 5 years of the program, CARE's 23-27 plan needs to meet the difficult challenges ahead. On September 30th, 2022, XT Green submitted detailed comments supporting data and suggested plan changes to corroborate its request that CalRecycle disapprove the current draft of the CARE Carpet Stewardship Plan 23-27. The reasons for this disapproval request include processing capacity section needs to be corrected and expanded due to insufficient and incorrect processing capacity data, especially for California facilities. Additionally, contingencies should be discussed in the plan for possible capacity reductions, such as those experienced in the past due to facility closures and delays. Timelines should be included to track task completion commitments, especially for the excellent special projects proposed in the plan. 3, high-quality, high-value recycled output, including pellet production, should be encouraged through capital grants and defined incentives for all polymer types to stimulate infrastructure development for more stable, long-term product markets and less reliance on the subsidies from the California Carpet Stewardship Program. Recycling and collection rates and goals should include actual pounds recycled and collected to eliminate confusing and potentially misleading program results reporting. 6, to ensure PFAS substances, the forever chemical, is not introduced into the circular economy, research funding should be included in the plan to mitigate the potential impact of recycling PFAS-contaminated post-consumer nylon carpet and prepare to meet upcoming PFAS regulations. Details supporting data, solutions for consideration, and suggested plan changes regarding the concerns listed above are included in the XT Green September 30th, 22 comments submitted to CalRecycle. Based on these concerns and the deficiencies identified by the CalRecycle staff report, additional work needs to be done on the CARE plan, and therefore XT Green strongly requests the CARE's 2023 to 27 plan should be disapproved in its present form. Thank you for your consideration. Thanks for your comments, Gail, on behalf of XT Green, and the director will consider your comment prior to her decision. The next comment comes from Mike O'Donnell at the Mattress Recycling Council. MRC would like to thank Director Wagner and CalRecycle staff for their thoughtful review and consideration of our amended program plan. MRC is committed to delivering an exceptional product stewardship program for California while responsibly using our financial resources to meet program goals. We will respond in writing to resolve any outstanding plan conditions. Thank you. Thank you, Mike, and the MRC team for your comments. Zoe, did you have any additional? Oh, okay. Okay. And the next comment comes from Peter Barnes. Last month, I submitted a public comment regarding my concerns about how your local community service district in Felon and Pinnon Hills is implementing compliance with SB 1383. I am submitting another comment today to thank the staff at CalRecycle for reaching out to our local waste coordinator. This past week, they announced that there will be a public meeting in January regarding SB 1383 compliance with a notice mailed out to the entire community. They will be submitting amendments to the Universal Waste Ordinance passed in April to ease the burden on the community at large, and they are working with local county officials and CalRecycle to come up with a solution that works for everyone in our towns. I'm very grateful to everyone at CalRecycle for all you do and for reaching out and helping our local agency come up with some compromise compliance solutions for everyone in Felon I hope I'm saying that right, and also committing themselves to reaching out and working with the community. Thank you so much. Personally, I'm very excited to see our community and state as a whole working to decrease our impact on the planet through implementing SB 1383. This is how we make things better for future generations. Peter, we appreciate your thoughtful response and your engagement on this important program. And that appears to be all of our comments for today.
I just want to thank everyone for, again, for attending either in person or remotely, and for all of the thoughtful comments that we've heard today and that we hear in our public meetings. This is a really well-engaged community of stakeholders on really important issues for our agency. And so thank you so much for your comments. As you can tell, we take those back, and as part of our consideration and action that we take in implementing our programs and on actions that we take for approval and disapproval of plans, we very much appreciate and take into consideration all of the comments that we receive. So thank you very much. It's the comments that we received over the last couple of weeks on the various plans have been so incredibly thoughtful, and I personally, and on behalf of our department, am very appreciative of how thoughtful our stakeholders are. So thank you so much for your participation and for your work on behalf of the state of California.
Thank you again for everyone who participated today. If you have more feedback for us, even on our new format design or any ideas, please share them on the public comment portal at any time during the month. And we wish you a happy America Recycles Day. Have a great rest of your morning and week. We'll see you next month.